Imagine a sport where man, machine, and engineering collide at 300 kilometers per hour, where a single second contains thousands of decisions, and a mistake at full speed can mean the difference between glory and disaster. That is motorsport. Motorsport is competitive sport that uses motorized vehicles as the primary instrument of competition. It is not simply about driving fast. It demands extraordinary physical endurance, split-second mental precision, and the harmonious collaboration between a human athlete and a machine built from over 80,000 individual parts. Why is motorsport considered a sport? Consider this. Formula One drivers experience up to 5 times the force of gravity through high-speed corners. Their heart rates climb above 170 beats per minute for nearly 2 hours. They lose up to 4 kilograms of body weight through sweat in a single race, inside a cockpit that reaches 50 degrees Celsius. Speed alone is not enough. Skill defines the champion. Engineering makes the performance possible. Motorsport has 1.54 billion fans across the globe, encompasses over 20 different racing disciplines, and has a history spanning more than 130 years. At its core, motorsport presents a unique competitive challenge, unlike any other sport. It is man versus man, and both are competing through a machine. Every driver brings individual brilliance, precision, nerve, racecraft. But behind that driver sits a team of 200 or more engineers, strategists, mechanics, and analysts, all working as one unified unit. The machine is not just a vehicle. It is a precision instrument developed across thousands of engineering hours, tuned to the exact preferences of the driver. And the margins? Incomprehensibly small. In Formula One qualifying, the gap between first and 20th on the grid can be measured in hundredths of a second. An elite F1 driver's reaction time is just 100 milliseconds, matching the absolute limit of human neurology. This is competition at its most demanding: physical, mental, and mechanical, all at once. Motorsport is not one sport. It is a family of disciplines, each with its own character, its own heroes, and its own unique demands. Circuit racing is what most fans picture first: closed tracks, wheel-to-wheel battles, and the pinnacle, Formula One, where cars reach 360 kilometers per hour. Rally racing takes drivers off the circuit entirely, onto gravel, snow, tarmac, and mud across the world's most challenging terrain. The World Rally Championship pushes both car and crew through conditions that would stop ordinary vehicles entirely. Motorcycle racing brings its own dimension of danger and skill. In MotoGP, riders lean at angles exceeding 65 degrees, touching their knees to the track surface at 350 kilometers per hour. Endurance racing tests not just speed, but durability. The Le Mans 24 Hours is the most famous, teams racing continuously for a full day and night, covering over 5,000 kilometers. Electric racing has arrived in the form of Formula E, now a full FIA World Championship, proving that the future of motorsport is as electrifying as its past. And at the grassroots, karting welcomes everyone. It is where nearly every professional racing driver in the world first learned their craft. What separates motorsport from every other competitive sport? First, the technology dependency. No other sport requires such a sophisticated machine to compete. A faster car can overcome a talent gap. A mechanical failure can end a championship fight in seconds. Second, the risk. Competing at 300 kilometers per hour demands life-saving technology in every component, from the carbon fiber halo device protecting the driver's head to the fire suppression systems built into every seat. Third, the physical and mental. Drivers endure 4 to 5 G of lateral force in corners. They manage over 600 gear changes per lap. They communicate strategy with their race engineer, monitor tire wear, conserve fuel, all while searching for the last tenth of a second. And fourth, the investment. Top Formula One teams spend up to $500 million per season to build the fastest machine on Earth. The objective of motorsport sounds simple: get to the finish line first. But the reality is considerably more complex. In circuit racing, drivers must complete a set number of laps in the shortest total time. Every lap matters. Consistency is as valuable as outright pace. Overtaking rivals is an art form. It requires reading brake zones, exploiting DRS zones on straights, or making bold late braking moves into tight corners. But go too fast on the wrong tire, and the rubber will give out before the finish. Carry too much fuel early in the race and you are slower than you need to be. Push too hard and you destroy your brakes. The fastest driver does not always win. The cleverest, most consistent, and best managed campaign wins the championship. In Formula One, the winner earns 25 points. The battle for championship points, not just race wins, defines a season. How does a race weekend actually unfold? It begins in qualifying, a 1-hour session divided into 3 parts, Q1, Q2, and Q3. The fastest driver earns pole position, the coveted first grid spot that offers the best starting line for the race ahead. On race day, the formation lap clears the track. Then the famous 5 red lights come on, one by one. Every driver holds the throttle at the perfect engine bite point, waiting for the moment those lights go out. Lights out, race start. The first corners are the most chaotic, 20 cars racing into a single braking zone at full speed. The mid-race phase is a chess match. Teams monitor tire degradation, fuel loads, and the positions of rivals. When to call the driver into the pit lane is often the decision that wins or loses the race. That pit stop, 20 crew members surround the car simultaneously. All 4 tires are changed. The car is back out in under 3 seconds. The world record stands at just 1.82 seconds, set by Red Bull Racing. As the final laps arrive, drivers push beyond the limits of tire and machinery. Every tenth of a second counts. The checkered flag falls, and one driver crosses the line first. To truly follow motorsport, you need to speak the language. A lap is one complete circuit of the track, the fundamental unit of measurement in every race. Pole position is the first spot on the starting grid, awarded to the fastest qualifier. Starting from pole gives a clear track, the best racing line, and the strongest psychological advantage. The grid itself is the formation of cars before the race, arranged in order of qualifying times, fastest at the front, slowest at the back. Qualifying determines that grid. In Formula One, only the top 10 cars contest the critical Q3 shootout. A pit stop is the planned halt in the pit lane for tire changes, damage repair, or adjustments. The fastest ever recorded is 1.82 seconds. The safety car is deployed when an incident requires the field to slow. All cars must queue behind it at reduced speed until the track is declared safe. DNF means did not finish, a retirement from the race due to mechanical failure, a crash, or a time penalty. The fastest lap bonus point goes to whichever driver in the top 10 sets the quickest single lap of the race, adding strategic intrigue to the closing stages. And DRS, the drag reduction system, is a flap on the rear wing that opens on certain straights, reducing drag and adding 10 to 15 kilometers per hour of top speed to aid overtaking. Motorsport may appear to be about one driver and one car, but look closer and you find one of sport's most extraordinary collaborative enterprises. A Formula One team at a race weekend brings approximately 100 people trackside. Back at the factory, hundreds more are working through the night. The team principal oversees everything: race strategy, commercial deals, driver management, and the overall direction of the operation. The race engineer is the driver's closest technical partner, communicating live during the race, analyzing data from hundreds of sensors, and calling the critical decisions in real time. Strategists model pit stop windows, monitor competitor movements, and decide when. Why do 1.54 billion people around the world follow motorsport? Because nothing else offers this combination. The raw, visceral thrill of the machine traveling at 320 kilometers per hour, just meters from where you stand. The roar of an engine that you feel in your chest before you hear it with your ears. The strategic chess match, rain arriving on lap 30, a safety car shaking up the order, a driver extending a tire stint well beyond what seemed possible. The human drama, a young driver from humble beginnings, rising through the ranks on talent alone. A world champion losing the title on the final lap of the final race of the season. Netflix's Drive to Survive brought tens of millions of new fans into Formula One. Today, 185 countries broadcast Formula One races. The sport reaches every continent, every culture, every generation. Motorsport is one of the world's most watched sporting properties. Formula One alone reached 750 million unique viewers in 2023. Formula One holds 24 race weekends per season, visiting 5 continents. From the streets of Monaco to the desert circuits of Bahrain and Abu Dhabi, from the forests of Japan to the heart of Mexico City. The sport is governed globally by 2 bodies: the Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile, the FIA, which oversees car racing with 245 member organizations in 149 countries, and the Fédération Internationale de
de Motocyclisme, the FIM, which governs all motorcycle competition worldwide. Alongside Formula One, MotoGP attracts 150 million viewers per race. The World Rally Championship runs across 13 events. Formula E electrifies city streets in 16 countries. And NASCAR remains one of the most watched sports in the United States. So how does someone become a professional racing driver? It almost always begins in a kart. Karting is the universal first step. Children as young as 7 begin competing at local circuits, developing throttle control, race lines, and the mental composure that professional driving demands. And the data supports this. 95% of Formula One world champions